JHK here for the AllStar, and joining right now from Las Vegas is UFC lightweight Khama Worthy. Khama, good to see your face again, man. It's been a while. How you feeling?
Good, man. Good to see you as well. I've been good. Training, getting stuff lined up and get ready for this fight.
Yeah, I noticed that for the past few months, man, you've been somewhat vocal about getting a fight, and you just haven't been able to get one. Like, has it been frustrating the last few months?
No, I'm not the only one. There's people begging for fights, and it's just the lightweight division. Like my manager told me, he goes, dude, like that's why I've never turned down a fight in UFC because it's a lightweight division. You might get 2 fights a year if you don't pay attention, if you don't do it right. So I'm like, ah. Then there's Bobby Green. Bobby Green gets like 8 fights a year. I don't know how he does it, but he gets a lot of fights. Like every time I turn around, I'm like, Bobby Green's fighting. Bobby Green, he about to fight again. He's about to fight Chiesa. He just fought. What's his name? I'm like, yo, how the fuck does he always get fights? But I guess he has some type of special contract or something.
I don't know. Are there special contracts out there? There's got to be, right?
Maybe I'm still like this is only my fifth fight in the UFC. So I'm still like you consider me like I'm still a newbie to the UFC. Bobby Green's been fighting in the UFC for like 8, 10 years or some shit. So like he fought for Strikeforce too, and he fights everyone. He's fought literally fucking, and that's probably what it is. Bobby Green's like, yep, I'll fight him. Yep, I'll fight him. Yep, I'll fight him. He don't give a shit. Like and he's a fun fight too. So I guess
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
it
for
is.
sure, man. I think there's a couple factors when they make fights, and like you said, I believe the lightweight division has the most fighters, so it is
Oh
harder
yeah,
to get matched up. And
yeah.
if a fight falls through, damn, you might not fight for a couple months.
That's why like I said, I haven't turned down a fight. Like they offered me a fight, I said yeah. I never say no. The only fight I turned down, I got offered Drew Dober, but it was like during the whole. It was right after my fight fell through with Atman, then Michael Johnson, and then like COVID started, so none of the gyms were open, and they offered me to fight Drew Dober in like 2.5 weeks, and I was like, oh, training engaging, and I've been here like doing nothing. I'm like, nah. But then I end up like taking fight with Pena like 4 weeks later. So it's like,
7 months have passed since your last fight. After that last one, did you feel like you just need to step away for a little bit and chill out?
no, I wanted to fight again, like real soon. No, like I was just a frustrating fight because I just felt like I had a good training camp and things lined up, and it just went south during the fight. Like the fight before that, my camp wasn't the best, and I just didn't feel right coming to the fight. My last fight, I felt good getting to the fight, and it just welcome to fighting, you can't prepare. I didn't see that coming in a million years. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he just caught me in between the lines, man. He's a solid fighter too. I mean, he just beat my boy Devontae. He's a solid. Devontae was putting it on him, and he doesn't wilt really easy. So, I mean, like it's the fight. It sucks. I mean, like you just saw Dante Wilder just get knocked out. You're like, dude. Unfortunately, it sucks. This is what we do. Like every week in the UFC, you see some like people get knocked out. Does that person suck? No, it just sucks that night because that's just how things line up. Like I like to like look at fighters. They're like, like I'll use personally, Reyes. Reyes was like he supposedly beat John Jones, right? And then all he was doing was talk about how he beat John Jones. He's the real champ. Then he comes back and Bonahovic picks a hole through his body. And then he comes back, get ready to get back to his title, and gets caught by this fucking Viking crazy hair dude. You're just like, what the fuck, dude? So he's on a 3-fight losing streak, getting finished 2 of them, and he was supposed. And truthfully, like you can kind of say he should have been the champ, right? I mean, like that's fucking fighting. It sucks. Like just little minor mistakes, like you do one thing wrong, another person does one thing right at the same time, and bang, everything goes backwards. So it's just part of the sport.
How do you get over that though? How do you get over that hump? You know what I mean? Of like you said, the last camp, it was great going in. We talked before. You're in high spirits. You're like everything's flowing, and you go in there, and it's just not clicking for you. How do you get past that?
You have to. Like I can't really explain it. You just have no choice. Like you can't dwell on it. Like you can't. It's like if you like if basketball, like you missed a shot in the last game. the name the next game, you're like, hey, don't toss me that fucking ball, dog. You can't think like that. Like a lot of people do think like that, and they can't do this job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a sucky job. Like, I mean, it's a phenomenal job. It's the highest highs and lowest lows. Like, I tell my students, I tell everyone, I'm like, every week someone goes in, and only two guys go in, and girls go in, and only one exit. Every week. Every week someone's career goes backwards a little bit. You have to do it fucking goes backwards. I mean, I've seen people lose multiple fights in a row. I mean, like, you know what I mean? So I just take it for what it is, and if nothing happens on an accident, it happens because it was chosen to. May not have been what I wanted to be, but that's the way it happened. I take it from there. I mean, look at my fights, my two wins in the UFC. Like, holy fuck, like, I know those fucking dudes didn't think they were gonna lose to me. They didn't think they were gonna fucking lose to me. I'm some old guy, new guy in the UFC. Like, no, like, Pena had never been finished, and Devontae was like, you know what I mean? Like, Devontae had never been knocked out. He had been TKO, and Pena had never been finished. He only lost by decision. And he come up there and he gets knocked out and he gets subbed. Like, yeah, that's a big surprise. Like, holy fuck. Like, yeah, like, that's fighting. Like, that's what it is. It surprises you and it catches you off guard. So you just have to, like, it's good just to, like, approach it differently. Like, I just watched this Netflix, they have a series called Untold Stories. And there's one about this tennis player, like, of just the stress of being. And I watched that, and it made it. I actually watched it here in Vegas, and it like kind of clicked. And he was kind of like, "Yo, failure is part of what it is. So if you only think about not failing, dude, like that shit will fucking. And then when you're done fighting, you'll have anxiety and all kind of stuff, and you won't be satisfied." So I'm like, "Yeah, fuck it." I turned 35 in 4 days. Everything I'm doing in the UFC now is it's on the plus side. You know what I mean? Like, I really. Like, I was talking with my good friend Mark Cherico the other day, and he was like, I was just so happy to see you make it to the UFC, because right before I made it to UFC, I remember me and him were talking, and he was like, yeah, you were saying, like, you were ready to go to one or whatever just to make a little bit of money because, like, you didn't think you're ever going to really make it to the UFC. So everything I'm doing now in the UFC it's all a plus. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride and take it from there, man. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be lazy. I'm gonna put in the work. I mean, that's why I'm here in Vegas. Like, you know, I'm out here doing time away from my family and going to TI. But I'm not. I'm gonna enjoy the ride.
Yeah. When did you arrive in Vegas?
I got here like 3 weeks ago, so it's been like a almost a 5 week camp and stuff. Out here, 4.5 week camp, training and stuff. I'm over at Syndicates and stuff. So lots of good guys. Actually, Hooker's actually there because he fought and then he came right back in the camp. So I've been getting some work with him. He's really tall. We got a couple of other guys, Brandon John, there's a lot of other really tall guys to work with out here. So it's really, really cool. And John Woods, keeping a watchful eye on everything. It's a real good gym. So I'll probably be doing my camps out here, my fight camps out here permanently after this fight and stuff.
How is it working with Hooker, man? He's an interesting character himself.
Hooker's a chill ass dude. He's super chill. Like, no ego, no anything like that. Like, he's super chill. He's funny. Like, there's no problems. He's kind of like at least for me at Syndicate, I haven't had any problems with anyone. There's been like fighters all over the place. I haven't had any problems. That's actually why I came out here. I guess it's the way that John runs it. Like, he kind of runs a no ego type thing. Like, not a lot of psycho sparring and people trying to fucking kill people and shit. So they keeps you safe and stuff.
The PI. What are you doing
Yes.
there? Well, how are they helping you out?
So I love the people at the PI, the people that work with me. So they're just keeping me healthy, keeping I mean, you're always something nicks and knacks or hurting, but I go to them every day. 1 o'clock since I got here, I've been coming every day, and they fix on me. They do a little personal a little like physical therapy type stuff to get certain things stronger, strengthen up this, doing that, making sure everything's together and stuff. It's just keeping me in line. Then they're feeding me, you know what I mean, and food, and they give me stuff, and then there's like facilities, ice bath, and all that, which is good, because like normally when I'm back home, I'm getting ready for fights. I'm still like teaching classes and I'm doing everything up until I leave, up until like 10 days, like 4 days before I leave. I'm doing all that, teaching classes and everything. So now this is kind of like a breather, you can say. You know what I mean? I kind of like it. I'm kind of a workaholic though. I like to work. So like it's cool, but I'm also like, dog, if I sit here and watch Netflix one more fucking night, I'm like, I feel like I should be doing more, but I'm like making sure I don't I'm trying to make sure I don't overtrain. You know what I mean? Like, and like the coach, my coach from Pittsburgh, he's actually here now. So he's like kind of making sure I don't overtrain and stuff like that. And like everyone would just say the same thing. Just like you're not gonna get any kind of benefit from pushing your body to death. So it's just pulling back and stuff, just getting used to that, chilling up a little bit.
That's great to hear, man. Now let's talk about this opponent that you got coming up, Jai Herbert, former Cage Warriors champion. Hasn't picked up a win in the UFC yet, so it's probably do or die for him. I believe he's on back-to-back losses.
Yeah, but again, that guy's fought some killers in the UFC. He fought Trinaldo and fucking what's his name?
Renato
The
Moicano.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, he ain't like he had. I mean, I haven't had easy fights myself either. Right, we both had really hard. It's weird. Like some people, I was looking at somebody else and I was like, damn, they get all the good fights. And then like I'm looking at me, I'm like, damn, I get all these motherfuckers that want to like I think like my like 4 of the people I fought had like a 90% finish rate or some shit. Like I'm like motherfucker, everyone I fight like no decisions and shit. Everyone's trying to kill everybody. So. But I mean, yeah, he's a tough guy. He has some good things, some solid, really good things that work for him. Well, I'll see how he goes up, how he does against a real athlete like myself. Like he seems when he beats. I mean, I know, where's you at Cage Warriors or whatever. He beat those guys, but those guys, they're not really. I wouldn't consider those. They're athletes. Like they're good. They're solid fighters. They're tough and they're gritty. They're good grapplers and stuff. But they're not. I wouldn't consider him to be like I'm a D1 fucking athlete, dude. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'll see how he handles against that and just my fight IQ and stuff. And we're gonna be picking apart some certain things about it. So it should be a good fight though. Definitely be. I hate it because everyone's like, again, everyone's like, this is gonna be another death match where someone's gonna die. Like, yeah, probably. Yeah, like it's just the way it is.
Well, that's you just said it. All the matchups you've had so far are those types of bangers.
Yeah,
Everybody's like,
and
wait for this one.
it sucks because Dana White's always like, this is the fight you need to know, motherfuckers. This guy here killed 87% of his fight. I'm like, damn, dog. Like, shit. Can I get a fucking break? Like, it was weird because, like, on my 3rd UFC fight, like, I liked it, but there was so much hype. I was just glad the fight was over. Even after I lost, I was just glad it was over because, I mean, like, people were fucking, like, believe me, I only had 3 UFC fights, and people was like, oh, once you beat him, you'll just go straight to a top fucking 5 guy. I'm like, yo, can I get 4 fights in the UFC before like you start like telling me I need to like like do this? And like my first 2 UFC fights were like main event prelims, and then I was a co-main event. Like that's that's a fast fucking career, dude. It's like 2 main event prelims to a co-main event, and like and that's like not like I said, not that I don't like that. I don't like the attention and stuff, but I like to just get a little bit comfortable. So but people, the way that I fight, people like to watch my fights. That's just the way it is. So I like to get like to my 3rd, at least start making a little more money. I'm like, shit, like toss a little bit more. It sucks because I didn't come into the UFC from another organization. Like Gaethje can get that type of fights and that type of, because he's getting paid a lot more. Like he came from World Series of Fighting, so they paid him a lot more. Like the other guys that come from other organizations, they're getting paid. I was a short notice replacement that just happened to fucking pop off the way it did, so they don't have to pay me that. So I'm cool with just just doing regular shit and trying to get paid proper money, but we're almost there.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned earlier about how people, if you win a couple, they just want to push you right away, and they don't understand the logistics and everything that's going on with contracts and even main event fights. You know what I mean? It's not like you get paid more to fight 2 more rounds. So really, you want to fight the fights that are going to equal the pay that you're getting.
Like I said, the fans just want to see a dead body, whether it's yours or it doesn't matter. And it sucks because like you see guys on the Contender Series not get contracts because they don't like go out there and try to die. And then you're like, and Dana will be like, oh, it sucks because you're put into a between a rock and a hard place. Because you're like, okay, if I really push hard, I take a chance of getting my fucking head knocked off, and people make fun of you because you got knocked out. But if you don't push hard, you're like, oh, you suck, what's the thing? You're like, dude, like, yo, it's a really tough sport, like doing it right now, man. Like, but it is what it is.
Definitely, man. And in this fight coming up with Herbert, how do you see yourself getting back in that win column? Is the mentality any different from the last four fights?
No, it's the same shit. I mean, I approach fights the same way. I'm same, same intensity, same level. I'm a little bit more controlled, but also a little bit more violent at the same time. I swung the pendulum both ways a little bit. So yeah, I mean, like I can't, like I say, I'm about to turn 35. I don't have time to like be adjusting all like that. Like it's now or never.
For sure. And this year or the remainder of this year, there's a lot of crazy lightweight fights. You got Brad Riddell versus Rafael Fiziev, Oliveira, Poirier, Gaethje, Chandler. What do you think could be the most violent fight out of those three?
I'm definitely going for the championship belt. Um, I'm a big Poirier fan, but I don't think he's beaten. I don't think he's beaten Oliveira. Like Poirier likes to shoot on people, or likes to like force people to shoot on him and stuff. I just don't. I don't see anyone beating Oliveira right now. Like he's a tough cookie. Like I mean, Michael Chandler had him rocked, and he shot and took Michael Chandler down. I was like, oh shit. So that means he can get you down if he wants to get you to the ground. He can get you to the ground, and once he gets you to the ground, you're messed up. And as you saw in the Michael Chandler fight, he has knockout power. Dude. Like so, I don't see anyone beating him right now. The Brad Riddell fight, that's going to be the most fun to watch. Like, cause they're going to like beat the living shit out of each other. That's going to be an awesome fight to watch. But I think the then there's I forgot. Then there's Hooker's fight too. That's right. Hooker just that's right. So he just said so. There's a lot of big name fights. So you're going to see a lot of big jumping around real quick and stuff. So we'll see. And then did what's his name get a fight? He trains at King. Is it King's MMA? He just beat
Dariush?
yeah. Did he get a fight? Did he get a
No,
fight?
not yet.
No. Okay. See, that's another person that like doesn't really get a lot of hype. Like he's good. He's a solid fucking fighter. Like, but he doesn't really get the pump and stuff because there's so many fucking people at the lightweight division. Unreal.
Yeah, I could see Darius doing what Oliveira did, is just take the long road to the title and win it like really
Yeah.
nobody
Oh,
really expected.
he's someone that can compete with Oliveira because of his jiu-jitsu level. He can actually compete with Oliveira, like, cause he's a really phenomenal grappler and stuff. Uh, his striking's pretty good too. Oliveira's a little bit more than him. I don't know. I mean, that would be an interesting fight, but I think he would have some hard fights. I think they end up like matching him up with somebody like Gaethje or something, which would be really fucking hard for him to deal with before he got to Oliveira.
Yeah, definitely. And you said you've been in Vegas for about 3 weeks. I don't know. Were you there for International Fight Week?
When was international? When was that?
UFC
No,
266.
I think I missed that by a week.
Okay,
Or I think
okay.
I came up the week after that. I mean the 2 days after that. I came up on Sunday. I think I flew up the day after, 2 days after International Fight Week.
All right. Well, over that weekend, John Jones gets arrested. Luis Pena, your former opponent, got arrested, and recently Chuck Liddell got arrested, man, for all the same thing. What's going on? A lot of people are blaming the people around these athletes, these fighters. What is your take on this?
And we're humans, dude. Like, like we fuck up. In fact, we're real fuck ups. Like, let's be realistic. I mean, like we're fighters are humans, so they make mistakes. I mean, I'm not excusing their mistakes. Don't get me like, oh yeah, But I'm like, yeah, like, what did you expect? Like, it's like when people go like, oh yeah, you should teach cops jujitsu because that will save everything. I'm like, no, that's not the problem. The problem is there's assholes doing it. I mean, like, that's not like all because you fight in the UFC don't mean you're a good person. I know a bunch of people that fight that are fucking assholes. I wouldn't trust them to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I hate when people think that, like, oh, what's going on? I'm like, oh, they're assholes, dude. Like, I don't know the exact I wasn't there, so I don't know the press. I'm not gonna like talk on any of that. Like, cause Chuck Liddell just made a thing that said that something like he it's something with his wife or something, so he got arrested instead of her. There's like a whole. I didn't read the whole thing, so I'm like, I don't know what's up with Pena, and I don't know what's up with John Jones. I'm not in their personal life. I mean, people get DUIs and domestic things all the time in America. It's just these guys are famous, so when you see it, people are like, oh shit. Like I don't, I, I mean, like I've never put myself into that situation. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Like there are people they do fucked up shit, and it just happens to be under a microscope. I mean, like John Jones has been doing this type of shit for a minute now. Not like domestic dispute, but he's just been wilding out for a minute. And Pena it's the second one for Pena, right?
I just don't like when people try to lump everybody together. Like everybody's like that. All the fighters are like that.
Exactly. I mean, like people are like that in general. It's just human. Like I'm like, dude. Like I don't fuck. I don't know I don't know why they're like. I don't know if they're going from mental illness or whatever. Like they can be like. And again, like with domestic disputes, you don't know the exact location. Like the right. It's not like these guys aren't doing shit like War Machine. Like you know what I mean. War Machine like tried to kill his girl. That's completely fucking different. Like you know exactly what happened in that situation. I don't know what happened with the John Jones things or with the Pena thing or with the Chuck Liddell thing. So I'm like, yeah, they're just people. People fuck up, man. They do dumb shit, and now they have to pay the consequences for it. You know what I mean? Like, but no, you can't put it all in like all fighters are like this. But that's what people like to do because
A trend that has been happening the last couple of years is MMA fighters going over to bare knuckle, man. Recently, you saw Melvin Gillard, man. He had 5 facial fractures. That was crazy. And then that dude, Justin Thornton, he just died, man, after his bare knuckle boxing fight. What is going on, man, with bare knuckle boxing, man? Is it, a lot of people have a lot of criticisms of it, and now it seems like the criticism is right.
one of my training partners from Pittsburgh, Rocky Long, he just fought and he lost. And I told him all the time, I was like, y'all, you couldn't pay me enough for fucking money to do this shit. Nope. I mean, like MMA is bad enough, but like, did you watch the one when Houston Alexander knocked out that guy and then he punched him while he was down on the ground?
Yeah. That was street fight right there.
Dude looked like the Undertaker. He like went out and then he like punched him. I thought he killed dude. I'm like, yo, and like they didn't even like say anything. He didn't get like disqualified. They were like, ah, shit happens. I'm like, the fuck? Like, nah, you're not. Like even like Gamebred's his bare knuckle MMA. I'm like, Isn't that just MMA?
Yeah.
Is it just MMA fighting? Like, no, it's bare knuckle MMA. I'm like, that's basically just fucking MMA. What are you talking about? Bare knuckle MMA? That's the same fucking thing. I'm like, nah, like I don't know. I mean, like to each their own. Some people like it. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, it's its own personal sport, but I like Dana White said it best. I don't think they're doing the proper physical requirements to do that. Like the proper medical things to do that. So yeah. Holy shit, dude. How's this guy? It's a good feedback. So I don't know. I've watched a couple of fights a little bit. Like I watched my friend. I watched that part that he was on. Guys was just murdered. And like my coach was there, my coach scoring it, and he was like, dude, everyone's playing basketball, like practice. Practice, horrible bones broken. I'm like, yeah. Like this MMA shit's bad enough. Like, nah, you're not punching me with your fucking knuckle out. Then every time I punch him to break my hand, I'm like, nah, I'm okay.
They're making strong arguments for MMA being safe. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, like, I saw the guy that runs it. What did he say? He goes, bare knuckle fighting is the safest contact sport on earth. I'm like, who the fuck are you? Who are you trying to convince? You? Or are you trying to convince yourself? Or like, who are you trying to sell this to? There's no way in hell you're going to tell me bare knuckle fighting is the safest combat sport. Like, nah, sorry, bro. That shit's not working with me. But like I said, some people like it. Some people are good at it. I'm not going to lie. I do before my career is finished, I do want to take a Muay Thai fight where it's very traditional, where they just wrap your hands up in the rope and stuff. I do want to do one of those. I do. I mean, that's on my bucket list. I want to do a Muay Thai fight like that. But yeah, I don't know about constantly doing bare knuckle. Like it just looks so bad after every fight. It's just like, God damn. I've probably had like 4 cuts in my entire MMA career during fights. Like I've never been all sliced up. There's no way you're getting out of bare knuckle without being sliced up. You're gonna be sliced up, man. So
I could see you, going to Thailand, wrapping your hands up, and then dipping them in glass, and just
in
be like, "This
glass.
is about."
Oh, I would do all that shit until I saw the other guy do the same thing. Then I'm like, oh shit, you mean his hands is in glass too? Nah, I'm cool, man. Fuck all that. I don't need that. Yeah, I mean, like I was cool with me doing it, but I didn't know he got to dip his hands in glass too. That's a little bit much. So
Too far, too far. Well,
yeah,
anyways,
too much.
October 23rd, man, UFC Fight Night. You're back in action. Khama, always good catching up with you, man. You're one of the best interviews all the time, man. It's all good. Much love.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on again, man. And hopefully after the next fight, hopefully I'll be getting back with you and do some good news on a W.